an interview with one of the winners.
Thank you very much. I'm here with Meteos, the Cloud9 jungler. Very strong performance there versus Team Liquid. Were you expecting to come in and just kind of breeze through there 2-0?
I didn't expect us to win 2-0. I thought maybe it would be a closer series, but I'm happy with how we played.
And game number 2 is pretty interesting. Game 1, you guys just came out, honestly, had a really strong showing there. But game 2, it felt like Team Liquid had the aggression, had the ganks happening, but you guys were actually ahead pretty much the whole game, despite it looking so even. Kind of what happened there in that game? How'd you manage to just maneuver such a strong position?
Well, early game, I think we were getting big XP leads through the waves, but they had a lot of catch and they got a lot of good picks on us, so we fell behind in kills pretty hard, but we still felt like we could win. We had a good comp, and we were able to punish their mistakes.
And then, of course, now moving into playoffs, you guys have locked in the 3rd seed a few days ago now. You'll be playing either Envy or Apex, likely Envy, as they are 1-0 up in their series. What are your thoughts on playing what's probably Envy there for your first playoffs match?
Well, we did pretty well versus Envy when we played him in the normal season, but there's a long time between now and playoffs, so I think it's really going to come down to whichever team can prepare better. There'll be the new patch with the turret changes, so hopefully it goes well for us. It's hard to say, but I feel pretty good about it.
And then, of course, as the 3rd place team, you've looked pretty good with all the teams below you, but the top 2 teams above you could cause some problems. What are your thoughts on TSM and Immortals kind of heading into playoffs, even though I know it is a little farther away?
Well, TSM and Immortals have looked basically a tier above all the other teams for like the entire split. I think that they're both extremely good teams. They're very disciplined. They understand the game super well. We can probably beat them in a series if we have to, but it would take us having a really good day.
Well, it's been a great day for you so far. Best of luck in the playoffs, Meteos, and thank you for joining me. But we're going to throw it back to the boys at the analyst desk.
Thank you very much, Pastry. A 2-0 victory for Cloud9 over Team Liquid heading into our postseason. That's going to be a great confidence boost for them, knowing that anyone below them, essentially, they're going to feel confident against. Now, on the side of Team Liquid, a very worrisome series to get beat as badly as they did.
It was such a strange game 1, really. I think like game 2 was close, and you kind of saw the strengths and weaknesses come through a little bit. They had some early kill leads, but weren't managing the waves quite right. But compared to game 1, where they just didn't even pick a comp that made sense for that team, it was very strange overall.
That's true. Improvement from game 1 to game 2 in the way of champion select for Team Liquid. This is much more reminiscent of a champion select that they are capable of winning.
And the highest damage is your jungler.
Well, that's
Stick 'em on Sejuani.
That's Team Liquid.
Yeah.
That's Team Liquid. What did we say? Literally, the analyst desk segment for the last game was, why are you putting a player like Dardoch on a champion like Sejuani? Hecarim is much more his wheelhouse.
He gets first blood on the top side. He goes out and solo sneaky. He's just rampant all over the map. But unfortunately, it's not enough, because ultimately it is a team game, and Cloud9 proved to be the better team.
Yeah, and I think one of the major factors there, Mark, was big kill lead for Team Liquid, but still a gold lead for Cloud9 through the majority of the early game, just due to side lane farm.
Right, it was strange because that first kill that he picked up onto Impact, you thought was like, oh, it's going to be really troublesome because Lorlo's going to build a big wave, he's going to get a lot of CS lead, and then he'll eventually be able to take over the game because he has the counter pick as well.
Right.
That never really manifested. Meanwhile, Fabi just kept falling further and further behind, even though, the rest of the team were relatively close in gold, or in farm. It was Fabi constantly falling further behind, which seems to be a bad trend for Team Liquid, where Fabi's always behind. And it's just so hard to win when your AD carry is weak.
Well, I do think that one of the reasons why the AD carry got so weak is also because the composition has that Karma, and you have a LeBlanc on your team. LeBlanc into the Hecarim, the Karma, and the Jhin is able to just go down there and leave her lane, goes into Fog of War, and then your duo lane is just like, all right, we got to actually leave because we're going to get double killed by this one guy. And they have to do that over and over. We got to respect the arrow. So many things that you have to be aware of that it makes it so dangerous for a pick like Jhin to just be able to kind of move and farm.
Yeah, but I would say that there should be some kind of options available for Team Liquid.
Oh, absolutely.
Because you have a Lissandra, that thing's fine in the side lane. You can go for a 1-3-1. You can send your team out in different ways that it's not, you shouldn't fall behind 40 CS or anything like that.
Yeah, very much so. Game did break open, though, at that 30-minute mark. We saw a 5-for-2 win out of C9 in terms of kills, plus a Baron on the back end of it. And we know this team, when they have a Baron, is very good at utilizing it to extend their advantages.
Yep, and you see that they try and go right onto Sneaky at the very beginning. Phoenix self-ults himself instead of just guaranteeing the lockdown CC onto Sneaky. He lives a little bit longer and leads to this 1-for-1 situation where Lorlo's now dead and C9's looking for the re-engage, and it's just not able to actually kill anyone. When Dardoch goes in, he just kind of splits himself away from his team, so he gets kited out and killed. and then it's just a turn back onto TL once they finally finish dealing with Dardoch.
That CC chain there too on the Hecarim was pretty obnoxious.
Yeah, you can kite that pony once his ult's out, which was used earlier on.
Right, yeah,
Sneaky,
yeah.
so.
I mean, it's successful in zeroing out the AD carry, but Jensen's still very much mobile on that LeBlanc, doing work in this fight.
Just being able to pick up a number
That
of these
just shows
kills.
how many times is Jin trying to kill these tanks against the likes of Gragas with GA and Nanar. You're just never actually going to have the time.
This early into the game, it is so painful
yeah.
to be hitting a tank as Jin.
Especially from behind, like we were saying, like you kill Sneaky, great, you got their AD carry.
Right.
Your AD carry is not super relevant because he's not ahead or even normal with what the rest of the game is at.
Exactly. So the kill onto Lorlo being just as effective as the kill onto Sneaky, primarily. That was the only fight that really. The only real big fight. We did see a 4-for-0 by C9 to follow that, but now with control of the game, that's more expected. Jensen's going to pick up player of the game on this one. Like we said, that LeBlanc, he's got quite a mastery of that champion. Just causing chaos in fights. His positioning's fantastic, making people second-guess pretty much all of their movements.
He's just so deadly on this pick. We've seen him throughout the entire split being able to actually just dish out pressure, single-handedly carry him. While he didn't do that this game exactly, he did have help from the team. I think that he's able to just put so much pressure on the backline that makes him so scared to actually just commit to a fight. When you, even the pick like Lissandra, which is supposed to be a counter into LeBlanc, if you get hit by the QR combo, that's still half your life. So,
right. I think especially considering he blind picked this LeBlanc, it's something that you don't see that often. The fact that he played into, like you said, the counter match of Lissandra and still came out just fine, able to take over the game. Was
even after that silly solo death.
Yeah, that was a little
All right.
unoptimal.
All right, well, Cloud9, they roll into the playoffs off of a victory here. Team Liquid, they're going to have to do some work in this off week before the playoffs start. That is going to conclude our coverage here on NALCS 1, but we're going to toss you over to NALCS 2, where Team Envy is currently up against Echo Fox. 1 win under their belt. Everything's on the line. If they win here, they make it to playoffs.
All right. Yeah, I mean, even just for Echo Fox heading to